We hear this word in Gyan, Mansa Seva, or service through the mind very often. But what is service through the mind? So many times it is seen that children will think that I want to serve this soul through the mind. Maybe this particular person in my house or this one relationship that I have, I want to serve them with the mind. So maybe you want to transform them, or maybe there's a good and pure wish that they should also recognize Baba and follow you on this, accompany you on this path. So even if it's a pure and good wish of this kind, still there is this thing that I want this soul and this particular 4 members, 5 members, I want to serve them with the mind. But Baba tells a very important secret today, that when you think about 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, then what are you doing? You are limiting yourself. You are bringing yourself into I and my consciousness. So you're bringing yourself into I'm not a soul. I'm a mother or father or whoever, and then you're thinking about the other soul not as a soul but as a child or a spouse or something of that kind. And Baba says that when you bring yourself into limit, so when you bring yourself into body consciousness, then that body consciousness creates a wall around you. It's like a wall through which you block Baba's energy from reaching them. So Baba says body consciousness is like a wall, and it doesn't allow you to be the instrument to channelize Baba's energy. So if you want to be the instrument through which everyone receives Baba's light and might, Baba's knowledge, then you have to be free from these walls of body consciousness. And if there is this thought that this person, this relationship, this person should benefit, this one should get transformed, then it is definitely a very limited way of thinking. And it is like putting yourself in a cage and then thinking that you would be able to help somebody outside the cage. But when you're yourself in a cage, how can you help somebody who is outside the cage? So when you are in the prison of body consciousness, how can you be the one who can free somebody else? So Baba says this is why it is very important that when you are talking about Mansa Seva or serving through the mind, you understand that first you need to break the cage. You need to come out of the prison of body consciousness. And how do you do that? When you have soul conscious feelings, unlimited soul conscious vision, and an attitude of the relationship of brotherhood. So when you see everybody as a soul, and when you have this attitude that every soul in the planet is a brother soul, so when you consider yourself to be a soul and you're not limited by this I and my consciousness, and you see everyone around you, this whole world, as one big family of brother souls, only then can you be the conduit through whom Baba will serve the whole world. So Baba says that it is very important to understand this law If we don't understand this, then we are ourselves in a prison and we are trying to set other people free. That is not going to work. So if you think that, I want to serve this family member or this particular soul, then ask yourself, why that particular soul? Why this particular family member? Because definitely there is attachment, there is, I and my consciousness. And when there is attachment, you are yourself a soul who is caged in the prison of attachment. Then what makes you think that you are eligible to, awaken the fortune of another soul? Because our own fortune is not awakened. We are ourselves in the cage of body consciousness. So Baba says, first set yourself free, be soul conscious. And what is the sign of being soul conscious? You are free from I and my consciousness. And then every soul is just a soul for you, and you have soul conscious vision. You don't separate one from the other. You feel that everyone is just one soul. And then whatever feelings you have are feelings of brotherhood, because you are a soul and every soul on the planet is your brother soul. So you extend those feelings of, good wishes and benevolence to every soul equally. And that is called Mansa Seva. So don't think that Mansa Seva is done for my child, my husband, my son, my wife, my mother, my father. Mansa Seva cannot be done like that. And I remember there was this one Mata, and it is a very funny incident. She told me that I sit during Amrit Vela, I sit on the bed beside my husband and I do Amrit Vela, and he gets very annoyed. He says, "You please get out of here." And I said, "Why do you do that? Why do you sit on the bed? And anyways, it is not recommended to do Amrit Vela on the bed. And why do you choose to sit there? Don't you have another place in the house?" So she said, "No, I live in a 4 BHK apartment. It's a big apartment." So I said, "Why do you then choose to just sit on the bed? Are you afraid of the dark, or what is the reason?" So she said, "No, you see, the prime purpose of me doing Amrit Vela is to send good vibrations to my husband. So if I'm sitting right there beside him, then those vibrations will reach very fast to him. So that's why I choose to sit there and do my Amrit Vela." So I said, "But that's not that's not the purpose you should have for doing Amrit Vela. And anyway, that is not the method to serve that soul. You think about, you see, you are in so much body consciousness that you're only thinking about this one human soul. So then how do you even think you're connecting to Baba and drawing energy? Because when your buddhi is clouded and limited by attachment to one human soul, how can your buddhi connect to Baba in that state? But we don't even understand this much. We think that maybe I'm just creating thoughts about my husband should get better and he should have a better frequency with me or something, and that is working. But Baba says no. So you see that service, any kind of service, whether it is mansa, whether it is vacha, whether it is service through actions, service is always the subject and the privilege of a powerful soul. So if you are yourself not above body consciousness, not above vices, then you cannot serve. So you see, You can cook food, but you cannot cook Brahma Bhojan if you don't have vicelessness inside. So Baba says any kind of service, the prerequisite to that service is you yourself are pure and free from vices, and you're free from attachments, you're free from attractions and desires. Only then can you say, this is service. Otherwise, it is selfish interest. And you see, in the world, everybody is doing something or the other. It's not like people are not working. People are working a lot. And, if you look at it, people are working much more than Brahmins are working. But then, what is the difference between working and serving? So, service is done by pure souls. So, when you are pure, when you're free from body consciousness, when you're free from attachments, then every thought you create, every money you spend, every word you speak, every action you do is filled with Baba's energy. It is filled with Baba's love, peace, purity, grace. And you see that it has that Midas touch. It starts giving results. It starts creating a destiny of success for creating the fortune of many. So Baba says that is service. And when there is, and if you're just working, driven by, attachment, so people are working right from opening their eyes to sleeping in the night. Everybody is working. So when you're working, you are driven by desires, you are driven by lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. Every person who is working is driven by selfish interest. And that is why, even if you're working, it is not bringing, success and growth. It is rather making you burdened and stressed and this and that. So why? Because there's a difference between serving and working. So Baba says, when you are a karm yogi, when you are serving, then you must take care that you are not body conscious, and you have an unlimited soul conscious attitude, and you have good wishes and pure feelings for everyone. And then you will be Baba's instrument, through whom Baba will, shower the light and might that he has on every soul. So you can become a very good conduit, very good instrument for Baba, only when you are free from body consciousness and vices. So this is something to be understood. And I remember, there was this one brother, and he came to the center, and every day he would tell me, you people are great, you are serving, you are doing so much seva. And you know how many children he had? He had 8 children. And so 8 children he had, and he was the only earning member, and he used to, earn for everybody and take care of them and send them to school and take care of their education. And 7 of them were girls, and they were all teenagers. So so you see, there was a lot that he was handling. And then, every day he would say that you people are serving, your people are doing so much seva. And then, one day I asked him, it is in very initial years of seva. So I asked him, you are also, doing a lot. 8 children is not a matter of joke, and you are taking care of all the 8 children, and all your girls are in teenage, and you are taking care of them and handling them and handling all the issues and matters and everything. So he said, yes, Didi, but it's not the same thing, you see. And I remember at that time, the center was so new that even 8 souls were not coming to the center. So, so Baba didn't have 8 children at that time in this center, but he had 8 children of his own. So I told him, here all day 8 people are not coming, and then you are managing 8 children on your own. So what makes you say that we are serving and you are not serving? So he said that, Didi, I am doing everything because of attachment. I am doing it because that's my daughter, my son, and I'm not doing it because I have a big heart. I'm a very selfish person. But whatever you people are doing, whether it is, just sitting and talking to somebody and addressing their issues, you have no selfish motive. It is done as seva, and that is the difference. And he was the first person to tell me that, and until then maybe I had also not realized the value of seva. But Baba says that, every Baba's child, whether you are living in a family, whether you are living in the center, every Baba's child, when you are free from limited consciousness, when you are free from this consciousness of I'm so and this is mine and that is the other, when you're free from these feelings, when you have this attitude of soul consciousness, and you have this vision that every soul is a brother soul, then with that attitude, when you sit and you create even one thought that I'm peaceful, then that thought reaches everybody, or that I belong to Baba and every soul belongs to Baba and every soul must recognize their father. That thought also reaches everybody. So Baba says this is what Mansa Seva and pseudo Mansa Seva. So sometimes you think that you're doing Mansa Seva, but that's just selfishness camouflaged as Mansa Seva. So that's not Mansa Seva. So we must understand this difference. It is very important. And I remember that, there was this one Mata and her son was ill. It was COVID times. And then she kept crying and she said that, I'm crying and I am giving him Baba's Sakash. So, in that moment, you can't even tell that person that this is not Sakash because, that's a very tender moment. So, I also didn't tell her anything at that time because she's already suffering so much. But the thing is, if you're suffering inside, what makes you think that you can give peace to somebody and you can be a conduit to give courage and peace to the other soul? So how can you give something that you don't have? And how do you have something if you are not a clean instrument, if you are not soaking, if you are soaking in the sorrow and the pain and the hurt and the insult of everybody around you, then how are you a clean instrument and how can you absorb Baba's energy? And if you can't absorb Baba's energy, then what is it that you have that you will give to the other? So Baba says that you have to be so clean and so pure that even if it's a very close blood relation, maybe the son, the daughter, the mother, the father, whoever, but you're free from attachment and nothing that's going on there is affecting you, and you are at absolute peace. And in that moment, you are a conduit for Baba, and you don't think about, if you are not attached, you will not think about my son, my daughter, my father, my mother at that time. You will just be an instrument and serve. And you will not serve on that particular day. You will serve every day, because an instrument is an instrument every day. So this is something about Mansa Seva. And I remember there was this one um, this one brother, and he's into Gyan for the last 15 years. And he gave the course to 4 brothers, and he connected them to this place. And um, so, these 4 brothers, they came to visit me once, and I asked them, what motivated you to take the course from that brother? So they said, that his son, so that brother who is in Gyan for 15 years, his son had a situation where his half of his body was paralyzed. And they said that when half of his body was paralyzed, this brother, he stayed in such peace and happiness. There was not even one streak of worry in him. And we are all his friends, 4 of us are his friends, and we saw him through that whole phase. He did everything for the son. He took him to the hospital, he gave him the treatment, he used to sit and read the Murli, and he used to follow all his disciplines, never having extra thoughts about the son, never having any feeling of worry for the son. And then, the son also got better. Within 3 months, the son was better, and he was back to normal. And in that whole phase, we observed him. And after that phase, we offered that, we want to do the course that you are following, whatever path you're following. And then he gave us the course, and then he connected us to you, and then we are listening to the Murli every day. So he gave this, so all the 4 brothers, they, unanimously they gave this experience, they shared this experience. So we must understand that, Mansa Seva is very powerful. So you see that son is not scarred, not traumatized, and he is healed and everything. But why? Because the father is very altruistic. The father is not attached. He is not in I and my consciousness. And everybody around, everybody in the world benefits from such an altruistic soul who works on his selfishness and his desires and attachments and vices. So this is the power of Mansa Seva. But Baba says Mansa Seva is the privilege of a powerful soul. So this is something. And then today in the Murli, Baba is talking about, Baba is telling us that we are master knowledgeful. Baba is giving this title to us, that we children are master knowledgeful. And Baba says that your brain should be filled with happiness all the time, because you are master knowledgeful. And think about Baba. Why is Baba called the ocean of knowledge? Because he knows what he knows. Yes, so Baba knows what he knows, and that's what makes him free from worry, and that's what keeps him happy all the time. That is what does make sure that he doesn't lose his happiness. Yes, so I was just once when I came into Gyan. So when you come into Gyan, you realize that you did many things in your life which wouldn't have done if you came in Gyan earlier. Yes, so after I came into Gyan, I thought that if I had received Gyan earlier, I wouldn't have done this or wouldn't have done that. So when I had these thoughts, I shared it with my Didi, and I said, Didi, I sometimes feel very guilty, and I feel that, even God would be thinking, Baba would be thinking that, she made this mistake and that mistake. And then Didi said that, Baba doesn't think like that. So I said, why does Baba not think like that? Why does Baba not judge me? So Didi said that, judgment is being judgmental is the quality of the one who knows, who has limited information. And if you have complete knowledge, you are never judgmental. And in fact, you are never unhappy, you never worry. So all these are, so everything, every weakness, every vice that is in us is because of lack of knowledge. And Baba says, when you are full of knowledge, so Baba says it is at this time that you become full of knowledge, true knowledge. And how do we become full of knowledge? We become full of knowledge by being in contact with the ocean of knowledge. So this is the only yug, conference yug, when we have a relationship with the ocean of knowledge. We come into connection with the ocean of knowledge. And when we come into connection with Baba, the ocean of knowledge, then we become master knowledgeful. Now Baba says that when you listen to the Murli, when you sit in awareness, when you remember what Baba said, when you act on Srimad, you are becoming more and more knowledgeful. And when you become knowledgeful, then first thing is your happiness is never lost. Yes, so today just think about all the incidents or all the events or all the occasions which make you lose your happiness. What is it that happens that makes you lose your happiness? And just think about, if still we lose our happiness, then in that moment, the only reason why we lose our happiness is because we forget the knowledge. Yes, so Baba has given us 3 primary points. So one is knowledge of the soul, second is knowledge of Baba, and the third is knowledge of the drama. So the knowledge about the beginning, middle and end of the drama, and the knowledge about how the drama turns. So how the drama repeats itself. So all this knowledge Baba has given us. Let's take for example, there is somebody who is watching a movie, and they didn't watch the movie from the beginning, but they just joined when the movie is at the end. So it's the final scene of the movie going on, and they're watching the movie at that time. Then in that scene, in every movie, the final scene is full of commotion and chaos. And then somebody who hasn't seen it from the beginning will not understand why whatever is happening. And they will become very irritated, right? That why is this person beating this person up, or why is this person crying, or why is this person complaining? But somebody who has watched the movie from the beginning knows the whole story. So they enjoy the last scene because they know that everything that's happening in the last scene has a reason which is there in the earlier scenes of the movie. Similarly, Baba says, when you know the beginning, middle and end of the drama, and with that knowledge in your awareness, you are watching this drama. So, and when you have that knowledge in your awareness, then you don't have any negative emotions about any scene of the drama. Whenever you see a scene, you know that this scene is accurate. It's neither good nor bad, it's just accurate according to the law of karma. So, any situation that I am encountering or any other person is encountering, whether with respect to the body or relationships or finance, or with relationship to the world they are living in or to the area they are living in, whatever circumstances anybody is encountering, they are all because of this huge burden of sins that is there. And then you see that again, the situation is not the big problem. The big problem is the sanskar you're carrying. And when we are carrying sanskars of ego and anger and bitterness and complaint and criticism and lust and attachment, then what happens is we project whatever is going on inside on the outside, and we say that the scene is making me uncomfortable, but the scene is not making you uncomfortable. What's going on inside you is making you uncomfortable. So that's what we don't understand. And when we understand the knowledge of the soul and the knowledge of the drama, then in every scene we can be happy, because happiness is a quality of the soul, and every scene in the drama is just a scene. It doesn't mean anything. It is neither good nor bad nor anything else. Yes, so this is something. And I remember, there's this one brother and he lost 2 lakh rupees. So so somehow he lost it, and then he said, Didi, I when I lost it, I felt very bad. But then I thought that maybe it's my karmic account. Maybe somebody was in more need of it than me, and so he took it. Or maybe, Baba wanted this money to not give me ego, so that's why he took it. So I said, you don't have to think so much. If you're thinking so much about the loss, that means you are in a lot of pain about the loss. So just know that it's just a scene. How does it matter whether it's a good thing that money is a resource, and we always take care to use it well. But when it is lost, it is lost. You don't put in a lot of thought into why it's lost, and whether it's karma, whether somebody needed it, whether this happened or that happened. Just put a full stop. So Baba says that when you know the knowledge of the soul, then at that moment you understand that it is your sanskar of greed and attachment which is making you think so much. So, and you have to get rid of your sanskar to not think about whatever is lost. So Baba says that I give you the knowledge of the soul, I give you the knowledge of the drama, and the most important piece of knowledge is the knowledge of Baba. And you see that the thing about Baba is a soul has a natural connection with Baba. So the soul belongs to Baba, and Baba is my constant companion. Baba is somebody who is always with me. And who is Baba? Baba is the Almighty. Baba is the Sarva Shaktivan. Baba is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love. Baba is the one who makes everything right. So Baba says that when the soul forgets that I have this eternal relationship with the Almighty, then the soul is in trouble. And you lose your happiness because you think that, something which is external and perishable can diminish your value when you lose it, right? So we think that, it really matters whether the body is fit or unhealthy, or that one person is talking to me or not talking to me. So these things don't matter. Baba says, when you have Baba, then you are always sorted. There is no reason why you should feel alone or powerless or unaccompanied, or any feeling of loneliness or fear or worry or whatever cannot come if you know that Baba is there with you. And I think in my journey, um, the most important thing that I have received from Baba is being free from self doubt. So, earlier, whenever you did something, or I'll talk about myself, whenever I did something, there were 10 people giving 10 opinions about it, and you really didn't know whether you did the right thing or not. But now that's not the case. So where there is Baba, there is absolutely clear direction about what is right and what is not right. And when you have Baba, you don't second guess yourself. You definitely know that whatever karma Baba is teaching me is the right karma, and when I am doing it on Shrimat, then it is correct, and I need to just follow it and take it to its finishing point. So Baba says, when you have me, you have clarity, you have understanding, you have decision making power, you have discernment power, you have everything. And I remember there was this one brother, he was a CEO in a very big company, and he once asked me a very important, he said, Didi, I want to ask one question. I may sound very ignorant, or I don't know what I would sound like, but there's this question I want to ask you. So I said, yes. So he told me, when you surrendered yourself, so you one day you decide that I just want to do this, and this is my life, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then don't you ever second guess it? So does it never happen that you feel that you made the wrong decision? So I said, no, we do everything with clarity. You are asking me about this surrender. This is one aspect of it, but right from getting up until sleeping in the night, every action we do is filled with utmost clarity and conviction, because we do it on Shrimat, and we never second guess our actions. We don't spend our time and thought in guilt. We never look back with regret, because we do everything based on Shrimat. So this is something that Baba gives us, and I think it's a very big gift. So Baba says, when you have this knowledge of who is with you, when you recognize yourself, when you recognize the whole drama, then Baba says, I give you the knowledge, and along with that knowledge comes the peace, the happiness, the bliss, the power, everything. And Baba says, I make you absolutely like myself. The only difference is you will again come into the cycle of birth and death. I will not come. But in this moment, in Sangam Yug, I give you everything that I have, and I make you absolutely like myself. Okay, Om Shanti.